want to be the best, I want to beat the best, and I want to show everybody, well, most people, what they passed up on.
Every athlete has a motivating factor, something that drives them. For some, it's being told they'll get to where they want to go. But for others, it's being told they never will. Count Marshall's Jon Elmore amongst that group.
I wasn't fast enough, I wasn't quick enough, I didn't shoot well enough, and the list goes on and on. So I was constantly battling that, just wasn't good enough, and that kind of was just fuel to my fire.
To understand the roots of Elmore's desire to be the best, one has to look no further than an hour east of Huntington, West Virginia, to the state's capital, and to George Washington High School, where Elmore played his senior year of basketball.
I coached AAU for different groups for a lot of years, and being a former West Virginia high school player and seeing what they went through, I thought a lot of them were underappreciated or under-recognized for what they could do on a national scale, and I think Jon was one just like those before him.
Despite the accolades and the gaudy numbers, the offers never materialized for Elmore.
I guess I just read it at that point as he's ultra competitive and he just wanted to win. So I do think that was the main thing. He may have a chip or does or whatever, and I can sure understand that. Why he wasn't bombarded with D1 offers, I'll never understand. You know, I'm not at that level, but if I had a scholarship, I sure would have given him one.
Ultimately, Jon opted to sign with his father's alma mater of Virginia Military Institute, where he joined his older brother, Odd. But when their grandfather fell ill in the fall of 2014, the two brothers left the program in order to tend to their ailing relative back home in West Virginia.
That was a really tough time for the family in a lot of ways. My dad was the patriarch of the family and literally a bigger-than-life figure to me and his grandchildren.
Just dealing with every little thing that was going on. My grandfather, who we were extremely close with, kind of helped raise us and taught us the game of basketball, him and my dad. So it was hard dealing with him getting sick.
Elmore ultimately joined the Marshall basketball program in 2015. Led by former NBA assistant coach Dan D'Antoni, the Thundering Herd were quietly spearheading a basketball revolution that Elmore had always envisioned himself being a part of.
I used to always stay up late and watch those West Coast games of the Phoenix Suns playing, and turns out who was their coach? It was Mike D'Antoni and Dan D'Antoni. So watching Steve Nash play all those years and watching D'Antoni's system and style, I just could always see myself in it. I always dreamed about playing in the pick and roll, coming down, kind of running the show, making plays happening, throwing alley-oops, hitting deep threes, just getting after it. So fitting in this style was kind of a blessing as well, and just playing here, I don't think it could get any better than this.
He's got to play our system, play within our system, and then his skill sets will show out. That's one good thing about playing here at Marshall. The way we play allows him to use all of his skills.
The way it worked out, and Jon came here and he admired what Coach D'Antoni was trying to do, and he loved his system and his offensive philosophies, and he felt that it fit him very well.
It's ring season, Jansen. Let's go, CT. We want to hang a banner up there. You see up there? We want a banner up there, CT.
That was my whole thing when I came to Marshall. You kind of look in the rafters and you see all those banners. However, a lot of them are from a long time ago. I don't think Marshall's made the tournament since 1987 when they beat my dad's team back in those days. So it's definitely been a while, but it kind of fires you up every time you walk in the gym. I know it does me individually because I want to lead that legacy here. I want to be one of the guys that kind of flipped the switch on Marshall basketball and had it heading in the right direction and then getting to that point where it was considered Marshall basketball was serious.
Elmore may be close to accomplishing that goal, but he's also on the verge of an NBA breakthrough, following a summer that saw him declare for the NBA draft and work with league scouts.
It gets to the point you try to get really good at stuff and you think you know everything, but then you meet people that kind of broaden your horizons a little bit and teach you things here and there. And this summer was huge for me in that aspect because people kind of pulled me to the side and said, look, you can do this better, you can do that, let's try it without this.
He seeks out other places that he can learn. And this past summer, he went out and worked with some trainers that work out professionals. He watched professionals play. he sought that on his own, which is what he does, and that's why I think he's so remarkable. He is determined to be as good as he can be.
The road to this point was rough, and the adversity was plenty, but Elmore has kept his eyes on his goal and powered forward, ultimately coming out the other side a better man and a better basketball player, and in the process has had the chance to prove those doubters wrong. And at the end of the day, that's all he could have ever hoped for.
I think God just had a plan. Everything happened for a reason. I ended up here and couldn't imagine the first 2 years going by any more smooth than they have, and just blessed to be in this opportunity.